working hard for you. WHSV at 6 begins now with breaking news.
Good evening, I'm Chelsea Church.
And I'm Kayla Brooks. Thank you for joining us. This is footage from Route 11 in Augusta County this afternoon, the scene of a crash involving two school buses. Virginia State Police says 62 kids were involved and 13 said they were injured.
2 kids were taken to the hospital. VSP says no injuries were life-threatening.
This was in the Mint Spring area. VSP said one bus rear-ended the other when the first bus stopped to let another vehicle go by. VDOT says that road is back open.
Augusta County schools say counselors will be available tomorrow for students.
This is a developing story. As we learn more information, we will keep you updated on air and online. A big day in Harrisonburg today as the city broke ground on its homeless shelter and services center on North Main Street.
The project is being funded through the city's American Rescue Plan Act funds.
The homeless shelter has been in the works for years as the city's homeless population has grown.
WHSV's Colby Johnson was at the groundbreaking today, and he has this story.
It was an exciting morning here in Harrisonburg today as the city broke ground on its future homeless services center here on North Main Street. And for Harrisonburg Mayor Dina Reed, it marks the fulfillment of a promise 5 years in the making.
1, 2, 3.
People ask me as a mayor, what bothers you the most? This is one thing. People not having a place to stay, a shelter, house to live in is something that keeps me up at night.
5 years ago, Mayor Reed met with leaders from 5 local organizations to discuss homelessness in Harrisonburg. She promised them she would make it a priority, and the long road toward building the shelter began.
We established a coalition which had probably about 20 to 25 organizations a part of it, along with the county, along with HPD, Harrisonburg Police Department, and we started that first so that we could figure out exactly what we needed.
Now, Nielsen Builders has begun work on constructing the Homeless Services Center that will be much more than just a shelter.
We're looking at bringing, health care programs, education programs, jobs programs, whatever we need.
The Homeless Services Center will also be a home for the city's nonprofits to provide various programs to those in need.
The suitcase clinic will be running out of here as well, providing health services. Volunteers will run it. It's going to be a place where people will just be here serving others.
The target date for completion is October 4th, 2024. Working hard for you, Colby Johnson, WHSV.
Getting a check of our forecast now with our chief meteorologist, Aubrey Urbanowitz.
Aubrey, yet another day, nicer outside, dare I say, even a bit crisp.
Yes, I think
nice.
you dare. Especially in the morning, we're kind of getting to the time of year where it's good layering kind of weather. It's a little cool, crisp in the morning, nice and pleasant in the afternoon. Then it's going to cool down a little quicker in the evening hours. So also maybe some good hot tub kind of weather, especially in the evenings. Temperatures out across the area right now with the sunshine in the mid to upper 70s. Beautiful night tonight. We're going to stay clear. Temperatures will be cooling off rather quickly for tonight. We'll have a light breeze, but the wind is actually going to start to pick up across our higher ridges for tonight. So we've got some cool nights ahead. Keep in mind it will be cool tonight, but even cooler for tomorrow night. Some very pleasant afternoons, especially with the sunshine in the coming days. We've got another cold front working in for the weekend that will bring some rain. Not for all, and that is the only rain in sight. I'll have more on what you can expect for your weekend that's coming up.
Virginia governor signing that new budget deal today. The General Assembly passed the compromise last week. It includes tax rebates, an increase to the standard deduction, and more money for state workers and schools.
We are not building a Virginia that simply competes for economic opportunities. We are building a Virginia that competes to win.
This new budget also means the return of the sales tax holiday, now set for October.
New tonight, we now know the Virginia Department of Health is investigating the death of Ivo Otieno. A spokesperson tells us the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services requested the service to investigate Henrico Doctors Hospital. It's all to look into how it handled Otieno while he was a patient there on March 3rd. 7 Henrico County Sheriff's deputies and 1 former Central State Hospital employee currently faces charges in connection with his death. President Biden gave a speech today on his economic policies at a community college in Maryland. The speech focusing on the differences between so-called Bidenomics and Maganomics. Bidenomics is the current overarching Democratic approach to the economy, while Maganomics represents a version of trickle-down economics embraced by some conservatives. The chair of the Council of Economic Advisors says the biggest difference is how the plans prioritize the middle class.
Bidenomics invests in the middle class. Maganomics provides tax cuts to the rich at the expense of the middle class. I think that's probably the most key distinction.
This morning, former President Donald Trump's campaign sent a release highlighting inflation and government spending during Biden's time in office.
And around the nation, Hunter Biden was indicted on federal gun charges Thursday. Special counsel David Weiss is charging President Joe Biden's son in connection with a handgun he purchased in 2018. The case was originally going to be dismissed without charges under a plea deal, but that agreement with prosecutors fell apart after a federal judge's review this summer. The charges against Hunter Biden involve making false statements on a federal firearms form and illegal possession of a weapon.
You never know how that's going to impact them or the ripple effect that it can have in their lives.
A food bank opening in Waynesboro, there to help folks in need of a helping hand and fresh meals.
Plus, the Greenway in Waynesboro will be getting a makeover soon. Hear the city's plan for an abandoned parking lot.
Everybody has been helped by somebody else. Sometimes we forget it, and we think that it was so long ago that it hasn't had an impact.
Waynesboro will be getting a new food pantry for people struggling with food insecurity.
The River City Bread Basket will be a client choice food bank, allowing people to pick what food they want to bring home to their families.
LifeWorks Project in Waynesboro says the pantry will serve anyone in need. WHSV's Mike Staley spoke with the organization and has this story.
You never know what the smallest bit of kindness, the smallest bit of attention, the smallest bit of care that you give to someone, you never know how that's going to impact them or the ripple effect that it can have in their lives.
The River City Bread Basket will serve people in Waynesboro who struggle with food insecurity. Adrian Young with the LifeWorks Project says this project would not be possible without community support.
It takes a village to lift people to the places that they need and want to be. Nobody does it alone. Nobody gets out of this world unscathed. We need each other, and we are hoping that the River City Bread Basket will bring people together to do that sort of uplift.
Young says the pantry will help families and limit food waste in the community.
Food is freedom. Food justice is going to lead people into having better lives, and it's not just food justice, it's also food recovery. We are able to reclaim food that would end up in landfill or compost or animal feed, and turn around that healthy food and give it to families that need it.
The pantry will not only provide food for people struggling in the city, it will also give the community a change to help their neighbors.
People hear about stories of hunger or disadvantage, and they say to themselves, gosh, I wish I knew what to do. This is what you can do. This is a small way that you can help us with a bigger problem.
Working hard for you, Mike Staley, WHSV.
And staying in Waynesboro, construction started in parts of Constitution Park for the South River Preserve Project. The project will reconstruct the South River Greenway and the parking lots around it. Stephanie Seltzer with Parks and Rec says the project will give the Greenway more plants and trees and repurpose an abandoned parking lot.
We'll be doing a little bit of rerouting of the South River Greenway so that we meander through what we're creating in terms of new habitat for birds and wildlife. So we'll be doing a lot of native plantings. We'll be doing some in-stream fish habitat work.
Seltzer says the construction is expected to be finished by May 2024.
The Habitat for Humanity hosts its annual banquet. Mandy Bartholomew will learn all about projects and need for its services. She'll break it all down. That's new tonight at 10 and 11.
Well, another beautiful afternoon, but get ready for a chilly and refreshing night. Good night to open the windows. But do we have any rain on the way? That's the big question. It's been the question for the last several months. I'll have that coming up next. But first, take a look at today's almanac with our high right around average.
Everyday items in your home deemed dangerous, but families are often left in the dark.
It's not enough. Do you see how many children continue to die?
Next time on Investigate TV Plus, the secretive process that keeps defective products on store shelves.
Your First Alert Storm Team forecast with Chief Meteorologist Aubrey Urbanowitz in the F&M Bank Doppler Radar.
Well, a beautiful afternoon for today after a nice refreshing start this morning. Our Pepsi of Central Virginia sky cam from Massanutten Mountain. Temperatures still in the 70s. If you haven't already noticed, we have a lot of leaf change already. Now, in most years, you usually do get a couple of random trees between August and September. That's actually not that unusual. The high number of trees that are already changing, this is unusual, and this is because the drought, the stress. So to be honest, forecasting the foliage this year, I'm expecting that to be quite a bit more challenging, and I think we're going to have a lot more leaf drop, especially early in the season. So we'll still have to wait and see, but that's definitely going to pose a challenge for the foliage this year across the area with a significant drought. Now, of course, right now, we still need some rain. It's not in sight just yet. We're going to stay clear for tonight. We've got First Alert Doppler radar and satellite showing absolutely nothing. We're going to stay clear. The breeze will actually start to pick up, especially across our ridge lines for tonight. So that will affect our temperatures mainly across some of the higher ridges, especially above about 1,800 feet. So for the most part, most areas are going to stay in the mid to upper 40s. But it's at those higher ridges along the Blue Ridge, Skyline Drive, basically along Shenandoah Mountain, the Massanutten Ridge, along the state line, Great North Mountain. That's where temperatures are actually going to stay closer to the lower to mid 50s because of the breeze for tonight, where the breeze is just a little bit more persistent so that it keeps the air mixed. So it'll be an interesting range in temperatures for tomorrow morning with a breeze overnight. Now tomorrow night we won't have the breeze, so that's when temperatures will be much cooler tomorrow night. Still going to be cooler and refreshing morning. Tomorrow afternoon temperatures very similar to where we were today in the mid 70s for the most part, and then we'll have a couple of spots into the upper 70s, especially our locations with the elevation below 1,000 feet. Luray, Moorfield, Petersburg pushing the upper 70s. Nice night for Friday night football. Beautiful to start in the 70s. We're going to cool off into the 60s. So feeling like football weather. No lightning issues for this Friday night. And then it's going to turn quite chilly with low temperatures and the lower to mid 40s with light wind for Friday night. So it is going to be quite the cool start for Saturday morning. Saturday, it's going to take a little while for temperatures to start to rise in the morning, but a beautiful afternoon with highs in the upper 70s to low 80s. Now as we get into Saturday night, this is when the cloud cover starts to increase ahead of our next front. We'll pick up on a few showers at times throughout the day on Sunday. Very spotty in the morning and likely a secondary batch into the afternoon. Some spotty showers, maybe an isolated storm. This is our only shot at rain in the next week, and it's not going to be widespread. We'll take what we can get. It's not going to be much, but we'll have at least a few showers on Sunday, even a storm or two later in the day. So your Blue Mountain Plumbing, Heating and Cooling 7-day forecast. Behind the front, the breeze will pick up and actually temperatures start to rebound into next week with the sunshine, highs in the 80s. But if you notice, it's going to stay dry.
Come on.
I know. See, that 30% just isn't.
But I did like what you said earlier about it being hot tub weather.
Okay.
That sounds
nice.
That's pretty fantastic.
I saw the look on your face when that happened.
I was like, ooh, okay, I need to, you guys have hot tubs, right? So invite me over. I would enjoy that.
We'll think about it.
We'll see what we can do. It's not mine, but I will see what I can do.
To be clear, it is mine.
Okay,
so.
Mine's not mine.
Okay, Chelsea.
Okay, sounds fun. Sorry, I'm
we
just really excited.
understand the purpose of why we're all here. It's okay.
Yeah.
No hard feelings.
Okay, great.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Aubrey.
Tara Overland Overland Outdoor Adventures takes people on off-roading Jeep expeditions around the valley, but now it's adding a new element to its business by opening its obstacle course and training grounds to the public. Terra Overland says its base camp off of Route 33 in McGahkeysville will be like a skate park for 4x4s. Its owners say it's a great way to test out your vehicle before going off-roading.
A lot of people have never even put their vehicle in four-wheel drive. So come down, learn how four-wheel low works, air down the tires, and just have a good time. Learn your approach, breakover, and departure before you actually get out in the woods. And learn the capabilities of your vehicle before you get out there.
Terra Overland is holding a soft opening of the park the next few weekends before opening to the public on October 5th.
Virginia Tech's football hits the road to face Rutgers this weekend. However, they're going to be without a few key players. We'll have the details next in sports.
Now, your local sports with Sports Director Jarvis Herron from the Centerra Sports Desk. Centerra supports athletes on the court, on the field, and in our community.
After Saturday's marathon loss in the rain, Virginia Tech is going to look to rebound in its first road test of the season this week at Rutgers. But the Hokies won't be at full strength going in. At his weekly press conference, head coach Brent Pry confirmed wide receiver Ali Jennings will not play against the Scarlet Knights. In addition, Pry had no timetable for the seniors' return. He also said multiple guys were questionable to play, including wideout Jalen Lane and quarterback Grant Wells. That could mean more snaps under center for Kyron Drones, whose first snaps against Purdue came in on the final drive of the game. Pry says there were positive takeaways from that performance, despite Drones coming in cold off the bench.
It was a tough situation for Kyron, and I thought he handled it very well. He made a play with his feet, he made a play with his arm. I think it was good to get him out there, and it was a big moment, challenging situation. I thought he was level-headed, he was steady. There's some other things that need to happen better around him, but it was good to get him the opportunity, and I'm excited for him and us to grow and build from that.
One of the most intriguing storylines heading into the JMU Troy matchup this weekend, it's billed as what should have been the Sun Belt Conference Championship game from a season ago. While JMU racked up the most wins in the Sun Belt East Division last year, they were ineligible to compete in the conference championship since they were still are transitioning from FCS to FBS. Now the Dukes say this is a great measuring stick game to see where they rank against one of the Sun Belt's best.
We all felt like that this is just the Sun Belt championship game from last year. It is what it is. But along with all the other teams that we've seen on the schedule, we're just excited for this one. We're just excited to go out and play week by week and execute our goals and plans.
It's definitely brought up. Troy, year by year, is one of the top teams out of the West. So regardless of what was supposed to happen last year, that this game especially is going to be a game that's going to be very physical, and it's going to be one of those games that can really define you as a team. So I think that was kind of really the biggest thing that we saw on the schedule.
And week 4 of the high school football season gets underway tomorrow night. Our end zone game of the week is going to take us to Broadway, where the 2-1 Gobblers host Fort Defiance. Indians still in search of their first win of the year. Their record 0-3, a little misleading though. They've shown flashes of brilliance after dropping the season opener. Broadway has won 2 straight. This will be their first home game since their season opener, October 25th. Live report tomorrow during sports at 6. Highlights and post-game reaction on End Zone, 11:30 on WHSV. Yeah, Fort Defiance, they've played Turner, Ashby, and Riverhead's probably 2 of the best teams in the region. So tough way to come out
still
to
got to
start
get
the
some
year.
credit.
But look, there's plenty of football left. I could see them going on a little bit of a run. Big game for them tomorrow, for sure.
All right, looking forward to it. We love End Zone Fridays.
We do.
It's fun. It's fun.
All right, Jarvis, thank you.
We'll be right back.
Well, hi Barbie. Sales of Barbie dolls have since the summer release of the Barbie movie have increased, which is the highest grossing movie of the domestic box office this year.
In June, Mattel released a new collection of Barbie toys, which included dolls pegged to characters in the movie. The company also released a toy replica of Barbie's 3-story dream house.
Mattel CEO, the real one, not Will Ferrell like in the movie, says Barbie movie-related products have sold out. However, the company does plan to release more products before the holidays.
How exciting.
Lots of fun. Yeah, definitely always was a Barbie fan. when I was little, and then big fan of the movie.
I was more of a Bratz girl.
Oh,
I never
really?
really played with Barbies as much.
What's a brat?
Bratz, Polly Pockets.
Oh, I did love Polly Pockets. My grandmother did not, because you had to dress them, and she couldn't dress the Polly Pockets. Poor thing, it stressed her out a lot. But I loved a Polly Pocket.
The old lady in the corner over here just had a Cabbage Patch doll.
Oh,
hey, those were fun too.
Hey,
I
heard
love those.
that might be making it into the Toy Hall of Fame here soon.
Oh, did you? That's
maybe.
fun.
I think it's one of the nominees. So
It
there we go.
wouldn't surprise
We're
me.
all included here. Jarvis?
D, none of the above.
Come on, the G.I. Joe.
Hey, come on, I played with
Go,
my brother's
Joe.
wrestlers. You're not excluded from this conversation at all.
Legos?
Yeah, it was all
for
fun.
sure, Legos.
It's all
All right.
All right, well, Aubrey, I'm wanting to take all of that stuff outside and play with it out there.
You can, and the grass is just, as dry as can be because we could use a little rain in here.
All right, Aubrey, thank you. That is your news at 6. Thanks for watching.
Good night.